I want to remind you how powerful you are and how much you have a huge role in attracting everything that you desire. So you have the power and you have the opportunity to truly get everything that you desire. If you've ever heard the saying, be, do, have, it is one of my favorite sayings because in order to receive everything that you've wanted to receive, we've got to be an energetic match for it. We've got to do our part, and eventually you will have it. You will have it. And you can build evidence on anything that you've already manifested with this philosophy, with this framework of be, do, have. Because if you have a vehicle, at some point you had to, one, be an energetic match for it, which really just in layman's terms means like you desire it and you're choosing that you're going to figure it out. Like it's as simple as that. Like you see something you want, you're like, I want it, right? Like as women, we are so powerful. And once we decide I want it, boom, you are already an energetic match for it. Now we've got to stay an energetic match for something by then doing the aligned actions to receive the thing. So I'll give you an example. This Jeep that I'm sitting in, back in the pandemic, I was trying to figure out what car I really wanted. And I was thinking about it, which is a part of the manifesting process. I didn't want to, get something that I wasn't going to, use for years and years and years. I wanted to find a vehicle that I loved. As much as I love minivans, they're just not for me. I've driven minivans in the past, back in my day, with the nonprofit organization, and they're just, honestly, like a minivan is just really long and it's hard for me to maneuver. So I already knew that I didn't want a minivan. And so I knew also that I love to be high up, but, SUVs are great, but I wanted something different. And I don't know where this came from, but as I was in the thinking process, I remember when I was a little girl and having a Barbie Jeep and how much I loved, like, the Jeep. And it just literally hit me one day and I was like, oh my gosh, I want a Jeep. Like, I want a Jeep. Boom. I was an energetic match for a Jeep. I told my brain, this is what I want after the thinking and brainstorming process. And wouldn't you know it, I saw Jeep after Jeep after Jeep after Jeep after Jeep everywhere. Everywhere that I was driving, I saw Jeep after Jeep after Jeep. And I just kept seeing it and saying, I want it more. I want it more. I want it more. Then I went into the doing phase. So the doing phase is really where the speeding up process happens, because I can keep saying that I want something, and if I'm not doing something about it, then I'm going to stay in the want and the desire, which is powerful, but then people typically get frustrated when they don't have the thing, because they're like, man, I keep saying that I want the Jeep, and I keep seeing it everywhere, and it like gets me so excited. And it's almost like you're dipping your toe into the water versus like cannonballing into the water. So the cannonballing into the water is the doing phase. This is where you'll spend most of your time when you are attracting something that you desire. So then I went into the doing phase. I started Googling local places that had Jeeps. So that was step number one. I talked to my husband. Hey, this is something that I'm really wanting to do. I've been saving up, which I'm so proud of. I was saving up for it way before we got to the actual doing phase, but I didn't know what I wanted, but I needed to do that part. So I was already doing that part, which was great. And he was like, you have my blessing, let's find you something that you want. And so I felt so powerful because I was in the driver's seat. Legitimately. Like, it was like, if it's to be, it's up to me is one of my favorite sayings. And so then I went into like supercharged doing mode. Like, this is where you go from like dabbling to then like the full on cannonball. And so I then went to a dealership on my own. Yes, I did. We're so powerful, ladies. And so I went to a dealership on my own in town, and I knew that they had a couple Jeeps on the property. And so I said, I'm here looking for a Jeep, and I would like to test drive them. I had no intentions of buying that day. I wanted to test drive. I wanted to get in the driver's seat, legitimately in the driver's seat, and feel what it feels like in a Jeep. I could have hated it. I don't know until I'm like in the actual Jeep, right? And so I'm still in the doing phase. I'm still in the attracting phase. And so I'm in Jeep number 1, and I'm like driving around. It's a nice summer day, and I like roll down my windows. They like let me take it around the block. I was like, I like this, but it wasn't like a, I've got to have this. So I get back to the dealership and I go, yeah, I kind of like it. And it did not have leather seats, which I'm very grateful that it did not get that one, because with children, moms, and so it just kind of felt a little stiff, and it wasn't exactly what I envisioned in my mind. And so then I come back to the dealership, and he was like, what'd you think? I was like, meh. Like, it was okay. And he was like, oh, okay, well, let me get you in this one. And so, which is literally this Jeep. And so I get in this Jeep and I sit in it, and I'm like, this is the one. Like, before I even drove off the property for a test drive, when you know. And so I was driving it, and I just felt so connected. It felt so good. And I was like, this is the one. This is the one. And so then once you have that moment with anything, when you're just so energetically connected to someone or something, or an idea, this has happened to me many, many times in my career, of like, I see an idea, and I'm like, I have to follow through. Like, it almost feels like this extreme responsibility. Like, I have to follow through. And so that's what, like on a more materialistic example, that's what like the Jeep felt like. It was like, this is the one. It is now my responsibility to move forward. So all the money that I was saving up to that point, I pulled that out. We put a hefty down payment down, and we drove off the property within days. I think we had to like go back and get everything for that. But it was such a proud moment, because I was leading the charge. I wasn't waiting for my husband to, be like, I know you really want a vehicle, so let's make it happen, right? Like, I wasn't dependent on anyone else. And this is the thing that I need you to hear, whether it's for car shopping or building an online business or getting in the best health and fitness that you've ever, had in your life. If it's to be, it's up to me. There is nothing wrong with desiring cheerleaders, desiring mentors, accountability partners, but when are you going to like be in the driver's seat and stay in the driver's seat? And then everyone else can fill in your car with you, but like, you've got to want this, whatever that is, more than anyone else, because it is your life. It is your desire, whether it's a Jeep or to build an online business or to get out of debt or to, have the hottest body and be like so confident. Like, people that you see that maybe intimidate you, it's because they have something that you desire. There was a point in my life where I did not have a good mindset. And like, I even remember I was living at my parents' house at the time, and my friend got her own like big girl apartment, and we went to dinner. It was like such an amazing dinner, and she's like, I want you to go back and see my apartment. And I remember leaving crying, because she had what I wanted. I was not happy at home, and just like the peace that I felt in her apartment, like I was jealous. And it's not Like, jealousy is not a bad thing when you choose to channel it as a good thing. And so although I cried, it made me really realize, wow, you really want this. Guess who got her big girl apartment soon after that? Me. I would much rather, I was just thinking about this morning, I would much rather be at a table of women that make me, like, jealous, envious, like, push my edges a little bit because they have something that I want. And it's not always materialistic things. It's values, it's energy, they're not playing small. Like, I want to be at a table of women that I'm like, you know what? She's doing it, so I'm going to do it, right? Like, there is so much room for success. There is so much room for joy and happiness. Like, success is infinite. Just as much as oxygen is. Like, do we go around looking at other people and be like, oh, you're taking oxygen, give me that oxygen? No. We look around and we, like, typically smile at other people and we're like, hi, like, have a good day. It's so normal that everyone is, taking in oxygen, and we don't think twice about other people having oxygen, because we know subconsciously that there's an infinite amount of oxygen for everyone that wants it. And so we don't go in this lack or scarcity mindset. And so I encourage you, I even urge you to really look at oxygen like success, like joy, like happiness, that there is plenty for everyone. And there is a seat at my table, and you are more than welcome to pull up a seat and hang out, because the table is filled with powerful women that you can choose to look at of, oh my gosh, they are so inspiring. And at times they may push your edges. And I want you to use that as good friction to be like, oh my gosh, like, they have something that I desire and now I know it. Sometimes you don't even know. I remember when I posted about my Jeep and someone goes like, must be nice. And I remember commenting back and I'm like, yeah, it is nice. Because guess what? This is the first vehicle that I have owned that is now paid off. That is now, that I have owned fully. That is mine. I have never had that in my whole entire life. It's either been the charity that I was for. We had a free vehicle, which was amazing and beautiful, but it still wasn't mine. And then before that, just like handed out vehicles, which again is great and amazing. I was grateful to have vehicles throughout, but like, there's a difference when it's yours. And equally, the person that said must be nice, I saved for this. Like, for years and years and years, I put money in every single week and saved, and no one had any idea. Right? So this wasn't just like an impulse thing a few years ago. It was so much discipline leading up that I'm incredibly proud of, because that's not an easy thing to do. And so, and equally, I chose to drive a vehicle for years, and because I wanted to save up for it. And even my husband was like, we could go get you a vehicle. And I was like, that's okay. Like, the vehicle that I have is more than enough. I would much rather, because I was a really new mom at the time when we were trying to make that decision. I was like, I don't want us to have a car payment. When I have a new baby, I don't want us to have a car payment. So I chose to drive a paid off vehicle that was nothing like special. It was much older, but it was safe. Which was important with a new baby. It was safe. And, I'm so grateful for that. Like, I'm so grateful. So like, true wealth is built behind the scenes. Like, it is built in the non-social media post. And like, there's nothing wrong with wanting nice things, but I have just a whole different philosophy that I am just really proud of. And like, I'm going to keep talking about the naked method, because it's exactly that. It's really understanding that we've got to like strip off all of the layers and really look at like what do you desire? Because that is important, right? Like, we need to think about all the things, and then we've got to take the action. Like, I just see too many powerful women falling into the passenger seat and then like pointing the finger, and it's not necessarily their fault. It's just, again, maybe you're at a table of people that's been their MO, is they fall into the passenger seat and then they point the fingers. And so, monkey see, monkey do. Like, truly, like, I have 2 kids, and whatever my older kid does, then my younger is like, oh, okay, that's what we do, right? So it's like really important that you recognize, am I in the driver's seat of my wealthy life right now? Or am I in the passenger seat? That's like checkpoint number 1. Are you in the driver's seat or are you in the passenger seat? And if you're in the passenger seat, I urge you to pull over and get into the driver's seat, even if you are in a relationship, because your spouse or your significant other should be in their own car in their driver's seat too. And then you guys are caravanning together. And the reason why is because too often women are contingent like on men. And there is nothing wrong with having partnership with somebody, whether it's, men, women, or anything. But I got to a point in my life where I was like, I want to make sure that I am financially secure on my own, regardless of anyone else. And then what's beautiful about that, it's only going to make your partnership so much stronger when you're confident with finances, when you can save money, when you can invest money, when you can understand a budget, when you can build your own online business. It's only going to make the relationship so much stronger because you're in your own driver's seat. And then eventually it may make sense where as a partnership, you get in the same vehicle and you take turns. But too often a woman stays in the passenger seat the whole time. And women typically, statistically, live longer than men. So we want to make sure, regardless if you're in a partnership or not, that you have such a solid understanding of you feeling, not even an understanding, but you feel so good. You feel so good when it comes to making money, saving money, investing money. Knowledge is power, and then backing it up with a lot of aligned actions is like the supercharge feature. And so anything that you desire can happen. Truly. Like, it can really, really happen. I could have looked at when I walked through my friend's apartment and I could have done like, woe is me, and just stayed in like mopey, la la land, where I was just like, oh my gosh, like, must be nice for her. When we are in the must be nice energy, it does no one any good. So although there was friction internally when I left her apartment and cried on the way home, it made me realize, like, she was such a gift, actually, because until that point, I didn't fully know that that was what I desired. So I want you to start looking at people in your life or people equally on social media, and when you feel that friction, I want you to look internally of like, do I desire this? Because if you desire it, they're giving you evidence. Like, that to me is a sign from the universe of like, hey, I'm presenting this example to you because maybe you need this example to know that you desire this and you didn't know it before. Equally, sometimes people are just not aligned with who you are or what you need right now. And that can also be a great indicator of like, oh my gosh, okay, this person is causing me friction, and it's not because I desire this, it's because they're not aligned with who I am or where I'm heading. And so therefore, you can decide, do I bless and release this person, whether it's on social media or off of social media? So it's like the universe is always giving you feedback. It's how you take that feedback and run with it. that is so important. And when you're in the driver's seat, it looks very different than when you're in the passenger seat. And so you can have an entirely different life, truly, an entirely different life in 30 days or less when you go through the be, do, have. And again, the doing era, if you will, is where you will stay the most. But we do need to understand a lot of people don't have clarity on what they even desire. And so I love the saying, like, vague goals get vague results. If we're being vague, it's really hard for anything to be manifested. If I just kept saying I wanted a vehicle, I would just stay in la la land with like, oh yeah, I want a vehicle, and like nothing happens. Do you have anyone in your life that in some way stays in la la land where they're just like, yeah, I want a new job, but they don't go look for a new job? They don't even know what they want to do. They're not brushing up their resume. They're not, putting out their interview outfit. They're not asking their network, who do they know? They're staying in la la land. Isn't it really frustrating to be their friend? Like, you love them, but you're like, girlfriend, like, if you say you want a new job, let's go get a new job. Like, we've all been there in some way, shape, or form, whether it's a friend that, says that they don't love their body, but then, they're not taking care of their body, or the friend that says they want a new job, but don't do anything about it, or the friend that is in a relationship that they don't love, but they're not doing anything about it, right? Or again, maybe they do something, but then it's like the dip the toe in and then they like, run away. So it's easier to look at the friend and be like, come on, let's do this. But equally, look in the mirror, right? Like, look in the mirror and be like, okay, like, is this showing up for me? Like, because what we're saying and what we're doing, we want to align. And it doesn't mean that you have to be perfect. Truly, it does, perfection does not even exist. And so many people get so frozen because they're like, but I want it to be perfect, or what if it doesn't happen fast enough? And we've got to let go of those things because it's keeping you frozen. So get clear on what you desire. That's like step number 1. And then let's go all in with one thing. Manifest one thing. I guarantee you, if you wrote everything down that you desire in the next 30 days, that would literally almost pretend like the piece of paper is magic paper and you're writing everything down that you desire. I want you to circle the one. I call this the domino effect. I want you to circle the one on the piece of paper that would literally help knock down all the other ones on the piece of paper. So for example, if you put down, 5 things, but then there was one that was typically it's money related or health related, and I'll tell you why. So when you write down everything you desire in the next 30 days, right? Like maybe you put, I want a clean home. I want to put, $2,000 into the savings account. I want to pay off debt. We just keep brainstorming things that you desire. Like you want a date night. Like nothing is too big or too small, but typically there's a reason why we're not going for those things. And typically it's money related or health related. And when I mean health, I mean your energy, your confidence, your personal mindset where you're like, oh my gosh, that positive mindset, I can do this. So health and wellness is so connected. Because if you're tired, you think differently, you act differently, you make different decisions. So health and wellness is mind, body, soul. It's everything because you are connected. And so we'll just put all of that into the same category for easy examples. So when it comes to the domino that's going to knock all the other ones down, again, it's typically money related or health and wellness related. And so let's say you're a tired mom. But you desire all those things that you put on the piece of paper. I'm going to guarantee you your domino is health and wellness. When we can get your energy levels up, you will shock yourself with what you do. Because a lot of times we say we don't have the time. And what I know to be true is we have the time. We don't always have the energy. Like even last night, I looked at my husband. I was like, my body is shutting down. So therefore I am shutting down. So I could have stayed up longer, but my body told me, no, you ain't. You going to bed, right? And so I chose to go to bed at an early time so that way I could be productive today. So it isn't necessarily always time. It's energy. Energy, energy, energy. So when we can, like, if I was working with that person, I would help her get her energy levels up for just even a few days. This can like, you can get everything you desire. Like, I shouldn't say everything, but you can get a lot of things that you desire in 30 days or less. Like, you can have a whole different life and be a whole different you in 30 days or less when you are focused. When you are focused. So if I was working with that mom for just even the first few days of this 30-day experiment, I would help her with her energy levels. Let's get some good sleep. Let's put some protein into your body. Let's move your body. Let's put on a cute outfit. Don't tell me that a cute outfit ain't going to put a good boot, like pep in your step, because it is, right? Let's put some lip gloss on. Let's put a good song on. Let's get some coffee in you, right? Like, let's take your ADHD meds, like whatever we've got to do. Right? Like whatever we've got to do, the energy levels will go up and 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 up, right? By, let's say, day 3, that mom is going to be like, okay, Nellie, what do I do next? Because I have more energy, I have more dopamine, I have more endorphins than I have had in so long. I'm like, okay, you said you want a clean home. Let's get that home clean. I want you to put your earbuds in. I want you to put some good music on, and I want you to literally make this the funnest thing ever. And I want you to clean your whole home. Right? Like, get that sucker so clean, scrub the baseboards. You should have seen me yesterday. This was me yesterday. I was literally like scrubbing my floors, scrubbing my refrigerator, and my husband's like, what are you doing? I pulled out the oven yesterday. I was sweeping behind the oven. Like, your girl was going a little mad, but in the best way possible because of what I'm about to share with you. When we do this, this is feng shuiing your energy. Like, it is my secret sauce, truly. Like, it is a part of my secret sauce. Like, you know how delicious Chick-fil-A sauce is? You're like, man, I want that. I want to be able to make that. Here's my Chick-fil-A sauce. I'm literally giving it to you in a bottle. So when we clean, when we clear, it does not have to be perfect. My house already, I cleaned and cleared yesterday, and I have children. It's already like messy again, right? But when we clean and when we clear out the way, it literally opens up gateways within your body and within your mind that literally just calm your whole nervous system, and it makes room for more. The more is what you desire. Right? Like what you put down on that list. So when we get your energy levels up, when we clean and clear as much as we possibly can, again, just for a few days. In this example, we're not even through day 7 yet. We're not even through day 7, and she's already making so much progress and changing her life. And it's because she's in the driver's seat and she's taking the aligned action. So her energy levels are up. She's keeping them up. She's cleaning and she's clearing. She's bagging up donation items. She's putting those by the front door. She is literally brain dumping her to-do list, getting that out of her brain. Like, she's just, a woman on a mission. I call this mama mode. It's kind of like beast mode, but mama mode. Like, it's activated. It's on. Let's go. Let's do this. Do not get in the way of a mom that's on a mission. Am I right? Like, do not get in the way of a mom that's on a mission, regardless of what it is, but like, she is determined, right? So we're not even through day 7 yet. So she desired to save some money. She desired to pay off some debt. So now we have got her energy levels up. Now we've cleaned and cleared. Now she comes to me again and goes, Nellie, like, what's next? What do I do? All right, cool. You said that you wanted to save some money and you wanted to pay off some debt. Yes. Okay, cool. I want you to print off the last 3 months of all of your spending. Okay, and then I want you to grab a highlighter and I want you to highlight all the extra spending for the 3 months, everything. And when I say extra spending, that even counts like Starbucks, it counts eating out, it counts fast food, because technically that is extra. But groceries, utilities, mortgage, rent, gas, insurance, cell phone bill. You could even argue a cell phone bill is extra, but nonetheless, we live in the modern world. It's pretty much a necessary thing, because no one really has landline phones. Like, what are those? Like, landline phones, what? Okay, so she's gonna highlight all the extras. So she's got the energy, she's in the right mindset, she's highlighting, okay? And then she goes, okay, what do I do now? Okay, I want you to add up all of those extras for 3 months. Tell me what that total is. She then comes back to me. Okay, she comes back to me. This is a fake story, by the way. I'm giving you an example. It's not really a fake story, because this is really like legitimately me, but it's not like I wanted to, like, I'm painting a picture for you, because a lot of people are visual people. So she comes back to me, okay, and she goes, oh my gosh, Nellie, the extras? And I'm like, yeah, tell me, what are they? And she goes, $10,000. Y'all, stuff adds up really effing fast. $10,000 in this fake story. I go, wow, okay. Can you imagine, like, even if we reduce that by 50%? Like, could you do that? And she goes, I think I could, right? I think I could. And so then, technically over 3 months, she would have an extra like $5,000 that she could put towards savings, that she could put towards debt. So it's going to require a different protocol for her. So if we just stay in our way of being that she's done in the past, it's going to be too hard, because that got a certain result that she doesn't really desire, right? So what I would urge her to do is, we're going to cut up all the credit cards. We're at least going to cut them up or put them in the safe, put them where you can't easily get to them. One of the best pieces of advice that I have heard and implemented is make things harder that don't serve you, and make things that do serve you easier. So a prime example is, if cookies are in your pantry and you will eat them, it's too easy, right? It's too easy to walk 10 steps to the pantry to get the cookies. Now, every now and then, if you want to go to Crumble, for example, that's still going to be harder than walking to the pantry. So then what we could do is replace that with like a chocolate protein shake. It's going to still give you that sweet treat. And so we're going to make that easier and put that, like the protein shakes, in the fridge. So for every time you want to walk to the pantry to get a cookie, the cookies don't live there anymore, so you can't even access them, and then you shift and you grab the protein shake, okay? And then you're still getting that sweet treat, and it's filling the need of the habit, which is going to the pantry and getting the cookies. So your spending is the same way. If it's too easy to grab the credit card in your wallet, let's make it harder. I have legitimately canceled credit cards. I have cut up credit cards. I have carried cash, and cash can still be like a debit card if it's hard for you to like go to the ATM or you don't want to carry cash, but a debit card is still like, it's digital cash. And so making this easier for you to manage your money is the name of the game, And so when we can do this, then even for the rest of the 30-day experiment, she can start to make huge strides of where her money is going. Somebody disagreed with me the other day that said saving money is not making money, and I was like, you're absolutely incorrect. Like, it's not even like up for discussion, because I legitimately, like, you can make all the money in the world and have $0 at the end of the day. It is how you manage your money. And so, yeah, making money, saving money is making money. It really, really is, because it's all about habits. Now, at one point, will you need to go make more money for your big goals, because you have, you've really, like, I call it the naked budget. You've gotten your budget like dialed in, and like, you've made really like conscious decisions. Yes, at some point there will be, yes, you need to go make more money. But too often people are chasing just making money, and then they have no plan, they have no protocol, they don't have the proper habits in place, that then it just literally disappears like into thin air. Trust me, I know, I've been there. I can call you out because I have been there myself. And so I completely disagree with that statement, because when you can get so good at saving money, you will make more, because your brain feels safe with making more money. When you don't, you will self-sabotage all day, every day, and you won't even fully know it. And then that's when like you keep hitting this wall and you keep hitting this wall, and you're like, why can't I make more money? It's because we're not looking at what we already have, and we're not using every dollar intentionally. And when I say intentionally, you should be spending money. Like, I'm about to go into a coffee shop. I'm probably going to get something, and that's okay. It's more intentional. It's more planned. There's bumpers. It's kind of like bowling. Like, there's bumpers around me that I can't go crazy even if I wanted to, because I've put certain parameters in place to make sure it's harder for me to do things that don't make sense and that don't align with my wealthiest self. This is the secretest of sauce, because when we can do this, it really is the bumpers. And most people bowl better with bumpers. Most people, at least I do. So when we can put those bumpers up, everything makes everything else easier, that you're not like, oh my gosh, I need to like check in with my budget. So I love a good spreadsheet, but for a busy mom, it's not going to be conducive that she keeps checking in on a budget on a spreadsheet when she's running around with her head cut off 24/7. So an easier way is exactly what I'm teaching you to do. It's a way to budget in real time that, yes, you can have a spreadsheet and you can keep checking in with it, but like doing this in addition to that is huge, because you can do the spreadsheet, but if you don't have any of these bumpers in place, it's just too hard to then get to the next month and you're like, oh man, I suck. We don't want that energy. That energy like completely weighs you down, and then we're back into the passenger seat when that happens. It's not empowering. Okay? So as this mom is going through this pretend story, right? Like, she's gotten her energy levels up, she's cleared the way, she's in the driver's seat, she's highlighted all of her expenses, she's now realized, oh my goodness, I actually do have the money to go pay off the debt, I do have the money to save based on my spending habits. So then she starts to make those changes, and then she starts to move, money in real time, and then she goes, you know what, I really think I can start making some money. Awesome. Fantastic. Let's figure out a plan. And so then she starts to discover what her passions are and what she wants to do to make money online that aligns with her energy, aligns with her time, aligns with her short-term goals and her long-term goals. All of this is so, so important. So within 30 days, she has made huge, huge strides in such a short amount of time that literally quantum leap her so fast into the future that it just keeps snowballing and snowballing and snowballing and snowballing. But it really came down to that moment in time where she goes, you know what? It's time for me to be in the driver's seat. It's time for me to be in the driver's seat. And that's what we're really, really looking for. Everything you desire comes down to you being in the driver's seat. No amount of mentors out there, no amount of books out there, no amount of conferences out there, no amount of, extra money out there is going to truly transform your life and you until you're in the driver's seat. Prime example, so many people win the lottery, legitimately, the lottery, and then they go bankrupt. Because they didn't have protocols in place. They weren't in the driver's seat. They just went completely cuckoo and spent all the money, and then they're like, oh shit, it ran out. So yes, do we want more money? Do we desire more money? Do a lot of times do we say more money would just fix a lot of my problems? For sure. But then that puts you out, literally that saying that puts you out of the driver's seat. It puts you out of the driver's seat. because it points the finger at the reason why your life is what it is because you don't have more money. And although there may be truth in that, we can always get super creative with where we're at right now to make it work. To make it work. Like, get scrappy. Get resourceful. Use the time that you have. Use the resources that you have. And you would be amazed at what starts to happen to then be able to create more. But when we point the finger at more money, it really takes you out of the driver's seat. And I know that because that used to be me. It used to be me. I just kept saying, well, like, I just need more money. I just need more money. And guess what? That was me in the passenger seat versus, you know what? Let's work on my energy. Let's clear my space. Let me see who's at my table that is aligned and non-aligned. Like, I want to make sure I'm building the most amazing environment around me. Let me work on my mindset. Let me highlight all of my spending. Let me make every dollar count that I have. Let me get creative with what I have in my home. Like, it feels so fucking different when it's that conversation. That conversation. So this is what I want for you over the next 30 days. Your own version of this. Your own version of this. And it requires you to be in the it requires you to be in the driver's seat, and you can choose who else is in your vehicle. So if I can help in any way, I've got resources galore. You know I'm always here. I'm not going anywhere. If you don't know that yet, I ain't going anywhere. No one can scare me away. No one can stop me. Like, I am in the driver's seat for good. I love the driver's seat, and I love helping other women get in their own driver's seat. And it is so fucking empowering. And I want you to feel what this feels like. I want you so deeply to feel what this feels like. So one of my dear friends sponsored this episode today. Thank you, Kristen Rourke with Busy Mom Bod. She is in her own driver's seat, and I've been so proud of her. She is on a mission to help women be able to feel so energized, so confident, look in the mirror, feel beautiful and amazing, and really be able to have that amazing mom bod that really we can have. And she has so many hacks and ideas for you, encouragement for you, strategies for you. So make sure you check out her squat challenge and get involved with everything that she's got going on at Busy Mom Bod. You will not regret it. And you need energy when you're in the driver's seat. And I cannot wait for you. I'm here to support you. I'm here to cheer you on. You can transform your life in 30 days or less. Legitimately, it can happen today. It can happen today. You can make so much progress in one day when you're in the driver's seat. And I'm so freaking excited for you. Okay, make it a great day.